I wonder how long the game is.
Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Yes. Oh, the bit rate went down. Okay, good. Okay.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment.
Okay.
I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
I'm gonna sit right here.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of...
I still can't
okay,
jump.
never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go.
Okay.
Version 2.
Oh.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
Oh.
I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2.
Alright.
Let me see if I can whip something up.
Okay, take your time.
All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh. Okay. Any moment now. Alright. Let's see how this goes. Oh.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Okay, he added the balloon.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Well, I think
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
But I got a couple.
Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay. You got the balloon.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
That I didn't pick.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. Can we jump? Nope. Okay. Was this all? Oh!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Alright. I almost forgot the button to interact. Alright.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay. Okay.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
I gotta fart. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Oh.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you?
What?
The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day.
What?
This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
How dare
That your
they?
relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
Wow.
That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd
Whoa.
feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I'd never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point.
Oh.
Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years.
Okay.
Let him have it.
Okay. I peed in this bucket before. It helped me through all of my,
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled.
I was
no
ready
more debate, no more
I was
discussion.
ready to go on a whole
Take a
thing.
hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning
anyway,
supplies and their
move on, let's
relationship
lock
to broom
into the
closets
story.
in the natural order
Let's
of
lock in.
things.
What do I do now?
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket.
I do respect the bucket.
That
I
way,
love this
if
bucket.
you're ever unsure whether
I'll
the thing you're
sacrifice
holding
the
is a
whole
bucket or
world for
not,
this bucket.
you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, "Ah, it's a bucket." There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
It's not just a bucket. It's my bucket. It's the bucket. Now what do I do?
You know what? I could take the
okay.
name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be
good.
honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Is he leaving? He sounded like he went far away. Narrator? Hello? Come back! Hello? Hello. Can I leave? I want to leave. Let's go.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay. Oh. Interesting. Oh, I thought that door was gonna open because it did. Oh, no, I'm tripping. Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any
Was this
human
your last
life.
one?
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
Oh, the keypad!
Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Okay.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. 2845.
Okay. He sounds
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer
Sound a little
luck.
angry.
Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh. Yes. Oh!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done.
That's
you can't
okay.
buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Guys, keep your eyes open, because I'm blind. We might miss one. Okay. Down we go. Oops. Almost left the game.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting
Okay.
towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the
It
bucket.
really is.
Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Okay. Everything will be fine.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
No.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
No, I won't. The bucket will never die. I will never
The
die.
door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Me and the bucket?
At this point, Stanley
We're
and the
here
bucket
forever.
were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
No. This bucket gives me reassurance that I will not die. I close my eyes. See? I'm not gonna die. We can't die. He's lying. He's a fibber. He's a fibber. Oh. My controller's going dead, chat.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
What do you mean, meaningless?
It puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
What do you mean?
Farewell, Stanley.
Uh-oh. Oh.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Oh. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened? Okay.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
What? Wait, where did my bucket go? I don't like reading. Let's keep moving.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own?
No.
Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Alright. Okay. Alright. Oh, there's nothing over there.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
Here we
It
are.
is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Man should... Okay. Okay. Can I, like... Can I... Oh. I thought I was gonna fall. I'll be honest.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Hi. Oh.
Let Stanley die. Let him be
Oh.
crushed by the machine.
You don't need to let me
reset
die.
the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The
What do you
bucket shall
mean?
take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Oh. Ew. Ew. You know, I'm glad you weren't here for when I was struggling. Editor, cut that whole part out. Okay, cut it out. Where did my bucket go?
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
I want my bucket. Oh, there's my bucket.
Stanley lifted the
Alright.
bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
It really did. Thank you, bucket. Only a little bit. Only a little bit.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
It's okay.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was.
I was trying to
How
see if something was
insightful the
different. I don't
bucket
see
turned
anything
out to be.
different.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms.
Oh.
How deeply touching.
I didn't think I... Well, you know, I done did that. Oh, I want my bucket back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Okay. Should we listen or should we...
Stanley
it's okay.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good, said the bucket.
Oh.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't
Can I go that way?
talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Can I jump down there and go that way? Or Nari?
In here,
Said the bucket.
go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
If the bucket says go, then we should go. You know? Why would we... Oh.
Now pick up the phone,
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home where we can go about life together.
Alright. I trust the bucket. We died.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Where's the bucket? Where's my bucket? This is very nice, very nice. Nice decor, you know? Very nice, very nice. What is that? What does this say? What does that say? I don't know what that says. Oh, there's my bucket.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders.
What do you mean?
Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Oh. No, it's not.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
And won't.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it.
No.
It doesn't do anything else.
You lie. You lie.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket.
You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from, me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket,
Ooh,
this stupid
lighting
hunk
is
of metal.
Nice. Very nice.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me
Nothing is
anymore.
sad.
From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold,
But, oh.
empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Exactly. Look at the shine. Very pretty, very pretty.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket.
Uh-huh.
It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid.
Yeah.
Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket.
No, it's not.
Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Because you're a hater. That's why.
Oh no. I'm having feelings.
This is
The
romantic.
bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if
What
I
do you
had
mean?
the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
You need to do better.
Stanley, give me the bucket.
What
Give
do
it to
you
me.
mean?
Give me the bucket, Stanley.
No,
I need
it's
it.
my bucket.
Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
That's crazy. Go back to work. Were we about to have sexual, stuff with the bucket? Cause that felt very romantic there. The candles.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh, we're
What
back.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Yep.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on
Wait,
his left.
why did I go this way? Okay. I kind of wanted to check if I could go through that other. Why is this? Oh. Okay. That was weird.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Oh, okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
No.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His
Very
boss
sad.
would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
No.
He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy?
I'm sick
He
and
asked
tired
the
of this
bucket.
man calling
The
me
bucket
crazy.
returned his gaze,
I'm very
but said
sane.
nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket?
This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground.
Where's our bucket?
Oh, gracious.
I'm about to crash out.
Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Where's our
Stanley,
bucket?
Stanley, it's me.
Where are you?
The bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
That's not my bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from.
Where?
The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful.
Is it in my butt?
Doubled over in agony.
Oh.
And blacked out.
Oh.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place.
Oh.
How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
She backflipped to work? Honestly, I don't blame her. Oh, it's been 3 hours. This is the longest stream I've done in a while.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is it that I'm curious what would happen if I just leave it here? I'll come back for it. But like...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, does it not do anything? Now I regret leaving my bucket. I left it for no reason.
Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Okay. We just sit. Oh. Interesting. I guess he wasn't actually going to... Okay. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I understand. Oh! I was just about to say, I feel like this door should lead to something.
Another miniature Stanley figurine.
Yay!
This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley
Ooh.
figs? Or What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another
Okay.
Stanlerine under your belt.
Okay. I can't see myself. I don't think there's anything else in here. Is there a door? Okay. Oh. Wait. I came from this way. I hate this painting. I don't know why. Why did they could have picked anything.
Two hours later.
Okay.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much
What
for
was it
Stanley
called?
to take.
258?
Too much for any
Wait,
man
what
to
was it
take.
called?
He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs,
two-
the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by
I
fear
forgot
for
to
nearly a
go.
full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk.
Oh.
What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly impossible
Oops.
to guess
Hold up.
blindly
Go back.
ever.
I was close to it. I remember the two.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the
Yes,
newly
luck.
opened passageway.
I missed my bucket. I shouldn't have left it. If it's wrong. Oh, okay. Let's go.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret
do
did
the
this
same
place
one,
hold?
but, like,
Stanley
with the
thought to
bucket.
himself. Did
Oh.
he have the strength
Why
to
did
find
he do
out?
that? Hello?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Oh, okay. Up we go.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control?
he really-
Never. It was
pretty sure-
unthinkable.
Was he? I
Wasn't
don't
it?
remember.
Was it even possible?
I don't remember
Had he
what
truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Oh my eyes.
But
Oh,
here
yeah,
was the
he
proof.
is.
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or
we can't
content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began
Oh,
to sink
wait.
in, Stanley decided that this
Because
machinery
the
would
first time
never
I put,
again exert its terrible power
I think I put
over another
on.
human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Oh. Because last time I remember I put on accident.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
So beautiful.
What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
It's so
But
pretty.
as sunlight
Oh my
streamed
gosh.
into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
I'm scared. I feel like I'm
No
gonna
longer
fall
would
for
anyone
this.
tell him where to go, what to do,
Slowly.
or how
Oh, this
to
is
feel.
gorgeous.
Whatever life he lives, it will
Very.
be his.
Ooh.
And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Oh. Well, can I?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right
I don't know
now,
why, but this makes me
that
wanna play
things
Minecraft
were
right
meant
now.
to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Yay! But where's my bucket? I'm not that happy. Ooh. This is like my third trophy. I think, pretty sure. Now, we're going to do this one more time, but with the bucket. And then, I'm going to end stream. And then we can play this to get more achievements another time. Don't know when, but another time. Or, we are not going to do that. Never mind.
Stanley
take the
picked up the
bucket.
bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay. Not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about him already. Can I get a sticker?
Stanley, we must move on from this broom
Okay.
closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Sorry, went that way. I just want to see the ending.
Stepping into his manager's
We should've
office,
went the other
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication
2,
of any human
4,
life.
5,
Crushed
8.
by the weight of this revelation,
Oh.
Stanley may have broken down into an
2,
emotional dumpster fire,
4.
if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And
Oh,
he knew it.
wait.
The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
Okay,
Nor in
let's
his
just
bliss
wait.
of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the
Oh.
keypad was 2845.
Well,
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
yes. Okay, now we do this with the bucket. Okay. Oh, excuse me.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Okay. Should we press
The lights
off or
rose
should we
on an
press
enormous
on?
room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
The first time I pressed off, I didn't know what I was doing. I just started pressing random buttons and I died.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
I would
Everyone
never
in
drop
the
this
office
bucket.
was
What do
being
you mean?
videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Oh wait, I just
The
realized.
bucket
wait,
had never
my
seen
camera?
anything like
It's
this,
moving
and it
slightly.
very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Everything will be fine.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No!
Oh.
He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Well, that's been a thing.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
Alright.
Was it over?
Is it the same thing?
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and
Where's the
darkest
bucket? I see
enemy,
it.
freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away.
I spell it.
Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but
that
then
like-
stop it
isn't that
halfway
like a country
through
where you
and
can't
begin
do
watching
that,
it in
like in public?
reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
Oh.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Excuse me?
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Excuse me?
Even the facility itself recognized the
No!
incredible calming presence of the bucket.
Go back down.
Needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room.
Oh.
But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I?
Yeah.
Stanley gulped. Very soon now,
Gulped.
he was about to find out.
Found out what? Found out what? What? What happened? While it loads. Oh. Where's my bucket?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley the good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Is there like another?
Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office.
Oh.
Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief
Whiteboard
in the
ending.
magic of the bucket.
Okay. But we came from that way. Oh.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Sleep well.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yeah, good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Well, I guess I have no other choice. Oh.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Okay.
Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Oh.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
I was hoping that everything wouldn't be a bucket.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket? Correct.
What?
This is a bucket. Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
How's it both?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. Should be around here somewhere.
Alright. Take your time.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
No.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket?
Everything's
Mere moments
a bucket.
ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
Yeah,
I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
What do you mean?
Okay, here we go.
That is so evil.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
Yes.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket?
Yes.
My God, I had no idea.
Stupid.
How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all.
Yes,
And
you
you,
are.
Stanley, you're still here. You're
I'm
not a
not.
bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue.
So yeah, I'm going to end it here. Alright. I hope you guys have a great night, evening, afternoon, whatever, morning, whatever time of day it is. I love you guys so much. Please take care of yourselves, because again, I love you guys so much. Y'all mean the world to me. I'll see y'all next time. When it's next time, do not have a clue, but I'll see y'all next time. And again, I love you guys so much. Take care of yourself. You matter to me and so many other people. I love you. Bye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.